something a little bit different. I'm gonna drive you to my favorite taco place that I go eat tacos with, or at, probably at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I just don't want to do it 5 times a week because then I'll get sick of it. So, and you know how that goes. It's like wishing you were a car builder, and then when you become a car builder, it's not as fun as the thought of being a car builder. That's like the only thing I can compare to overeating your favorite taco place. So you got to pace yourself. You know what I mean? You got to just eat it once or twice a week. But anyway, on the way, we're going to talk about this 55 Chevy. This is the haunted rod. And dude, it's pretty awesome. It's a fun car. I love driving this thing around town. It's actually, right now, this is my daily. This is what I've been daily driving. It's a 55 Chevy 210 sedan, 2-door. 1955 basically was the first year of the V8 for Chevrolet in basically in a car that you can afford to drive. So in 1955 they came out with the 265 and put them in the 55 Chevy. A lot of these cars actually had an inline 6-cylinder with 3 on the tree. And then the V8 cars usually came with like a power glide transmission in them. But what a classic. The 55 to me is probably one of the most classic cars out there, aside of the, you know, the 5 and the 57 and the 56. I'm more of a 55 or 57 guy. My mom is a huge 56 Chevy girl. She had a 56 Chevy in high school that was a ivory white top and back with the Sierra gold, which was almost like a copper color. A really pretty car. It was actually my grandpa's car, and I've got a picture of it that the day that my mom and dad got married in that car. And I would like to say that I was probably conceived in the back seat. I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna say that that could be a possibility. Anyway, you got to figure that was, you know, 1956. That car was brand new by the time my mom was driving it in high school. In the late 60s, you know, the car was 10, 12 years old, so it was kind of an older car. People didn't know what they had back then. But the story is that my dad had a 57 Chevy. I think it was a 2-door hardtop. He had I think he had a built 409 in it. Oh no, there's shit. It had a built 409 in it. It was a pretty badass freaking car actually. And we're about ready to get mobbed on by a Corvette here any minute. Corvette right here, watch. This is what I'm talking about. We just blew the back seat out of the car. Let's just mess with this guy in this Corvette for a minute. Why not, right? What's up, homeboy? What were you doing? You found me. Let's go eat tacos. You got your dog? Just pull in there. So yeah, it's always kind of fun to get ah, shit. You know what? That's what's so fun about taking a car from 1955 that made 100 horsepower, maybe 150 horsepower, put a CTSV Cadillac supercharged LSA motor in it that makes, well, this one probably makes right around 600 horse, pretty tame and put an ass beating on a brand new Corvette. You know, that just feels good. Makes me feel good. That's what I love about it. You know what I mean? You take something that you've made, that you actually put together with your own geometry. You know, you got like Justin in the shop designing the suspension, and you know, Merlin putting the motor together, and Travis doing all the cool look of it, and paint work, and me just overall seeing this project come together and basically be the one that wants to put the little pieces everywhere, you know, to kind of make it all come together. To think that 4 or 5 guys in their shop in a matter of 20 days took a 55 Chevy that came out of some guy's garage or out of a creepy shed, and in a matter of 20 days put this whole thing together and make something out of it that can go out and beat the shit out of a modern car. That feels good, you know what I mean? It really does. So now we're gonna pull in here and take you to my favorite taco place. I love this spot. It's a little hood, but it's cool, you know what I mean? Usually the taco shops that are in the hood, those are the best ones, you know what I mean? Okay guys, so check it out. If you're in Vegas and you're looking for a place to get some bomb tacos, this is where you gotta go. And it's not very far from my shop. That's why we come over here. This is the place to come get tacos if you're gonna get some. All right guys, check it out. I decided that I would get the haunted rod out and give you guys a little breakdown on what's going on with this car and what it has in it and the story behind it a little bit. That's what's so cool about this car, is the story that's behind it. This car was found in Death Valley, right off the same spot where Charles Manson's place was at. And you know, I don't know what the whole story is. Joe, the guy I got the car from, he has now since passed away, and he had more of the story than I did. But allegedly, the car was on the ranch. I don't know if somebody in the Manson family drove it up in there or how they got it, but the car was found there and brought to Joe's place, and Joe took it home and stuck it in a chicken coop. He had these big, like 60-foot chicken coops that basically back probably in the 50s, they had a chicken farm out there. Well, he had bought this place and turned 3 of these chicken coops into his shop. And he got the car, he brought it home, and this guy's a collector. He has all kinds of stuff. It sat inside this, his unit in one of the chicken shacks for probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And the big deal is that he said that it would actually shake the rafters in the chicken coop. So when he would come out, there'd be feathers on top of the car, because the feathers would stay in the rafters from all the years of the chickens being in there. So it had all these feathers up there. So if it got shook a little bit, what would happen is the feathers would kind of snow down on the car. Anyway, I told Joe, I said, hey man, you live in California, it was probably an earthquake, and that's probably what happened. But he swears it wasn't. He just said that there was a lot of creepy things that would go on with the car, and it was pretty weird. So I thought that I would share this story and tell you guys a little bit more about the car and what actually went down with it. So we got the car, we brought it back to the shop, and we're gonna build this car for a girl named Dorinda that was an ex-girlfriend of mine from when we were, 17, 18, 19 years old. And we stayed friends all this time. And so anyway, we were gonna put a car together that had something to do with haunting. Okay, well, we know the car's got a problem and it's got a little possession going on, like it might be a little bit haunted, you know what I mean? And building the car, we did go through some weird encounters with the car where there was a few issues with things that the doors would shut. I know that when we took the car out of there, we watched the door open up and then it actually closed again. So, and you know what's funny is I've got another truck in my shop, Little Joe, that is the same way. I could shut the door on it and come back the next morning, the door's wide open. and it's my little truck that's got the cowboy boots on it. And I think what it is there's something inside of my shop that loves that look. So what they do is they go in and open the doors up so people can see the cowboy boots inside the door. So I know Justin and one of the other guys that we had working at the shop at Welder Up seen it was a girl. They swear it's a girl that's in there. We don't know how old she is. Not old, kind of a younger girl, but there's a spirit inside of our shop, and whatever it is, it just messes with shit around the shop. It's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I have to believe that there is life of some sort after death. And when you die, what happens with your spirit? Where do you go? What, do you go to heaven? Do you go to hell? Do you just linger around? I mean, you know, I'm hoping that when I die, before I go to heaven, I want to spend a little bit of time on the earth just messing with people. You know what I mean? I think it'd be fun to scare the shit out of people. And, you know, it's kind of funny because even my house, there's a little something going on in there, and that's something that my kids could tell you about. And I think I'm so used to the activity in my house that it doesn't even bother me anymore. And, you know, I think a lot of it comes with all the old antiques and the artifacts that I collect. I bring them into my house, and it might be bringing stuff with them. And, you know, to me, it doesn't really bother me. I don't really get creeped out about that kind of stuff. I mean, I can watch a scary movie and get more scared than living in my house with a spirit in there. So it's really not that big of a deal to me. Okay guys, let's get into the paint on this car. Everybody loves the paint on this car. No matter where I take it, if the sun hits it just right, you can really see the layers that went into this car. Now, look, this car we did absolutely no body work to this car. I didn't want to do body work. I wanted it to look rough and have that feel of it. I wanted it to feel like it's been through a lot of things in its life, which it has. It's a 1955. But when we got to going on this car, you know, Travis and I started talking about the paint scheme. Like, what did we want to do? And I've always been a huge fan of the two-tone, which the roof on this thing is all black. And into the rear quarter panel right here, a lot of these cars back in the old days, that's how they painted them. So the top would be white and down into here, and then the rest of the car would be red or black or whatever color it would be. So I kind of wanted to stay with that more dark in the rear quarter like this. But the paint, what we decided to do was go silver. We put a heavy silver coat on this first. This car was all silver and black. I really am a big fan of the silver and black two-tone 55s. They look beautiful. But we wanted to creep this one out. So Travis started adding a little bit of water-based black to it. And basically I just stood back and said, okay, keep putting it on. Keep putting it on, keep putting it on. And until I get it where I want it. Well, underneath the silver was a black base because we painted it black first. And then we could actually rub through and get down into the black through the silver to kind of really give it just a real rough, beat up look. And the lines in it, the grains, if you can look right in this fender right here, how the grains go through the different colors is just, it's gorgeous. It turned out really cool. You can see the silver in it, but you got the black, you got the runs in it. It's just really cool. It looks like something that could definitely be like a scary movie. You know, it's got chips in the paint, but I drive this thing every day pretty much. I mean, it's another one of my daily drivers. I like to drive this car. It's got a CTSV Cadillac motor in it. This motor's probably making right around 600 horse right now. It still needs to take another run to the tune shop. I want to set it on a dyno, and I want to really get some numbers out of this car. I think this car has the potential, the way it's set up right now, to make 650 horse all day long on the street. It's good usable horsepower. The car's not overly that heavy. You know, you look at a lot of these new cars with like Hellcats and you know, the new cars, they just weigh so much. You know, they're so heavy. All the electronics and all the things that are inside of them, they get heavy. So it robs horsepower out of them. So this car would surprise you. It's really not as heavy as it probably looks. Let me open this hood up real quick. So if you look under the hood, we have stuffed a CTSV supercharged Cadillac motor in it. It's got a pulley on it. It really is pretty close to being stock. It doesn't have like a whole lot of add-ons to it. So it's just fun to drive. It's not over the top, and that's kind of really what I want. I don't want nothing that gets to the point where you can't drive it. I've done that with too many cars now, and you know, I just want one that I can drive around. All right, let's talk about the inside of the car. So, you know, this car feels like a brand new car when I get in it. It's got the right size steering wheel in it. It's got a tilt column in it. It's got the Dakota digital dash in it. You know, it also, if you see down here, I made some little AC vents that I thought looked a little bit better than the ones they send you. Usually when they send you the AC vents with your air conditioner, it's these square, old school looking ones with the chrome in them, and they're terrible looking. And then the ones that they did send me here, I just drilled holes in the dash and ran my air in here. So air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, CTSV motor. It's got a nice stereo system in it. It's got an iPad in it, so we can look things up if we want when we're driving around. The center consoles are all custom made right through here. Spent a lot of time on the interior of this car. So in the back, there's 3 speakers back there. There's 2 subwoofers in the trunk. You got corner speakers up here in the front. The system actually sounds pretty good in this car. But it's a daily driver. Like, I could get in this car and I wouldn't be afraid to drive this thing to Southern California right now to go down to the beach and hang out. I mean, that's what's so cool about it. This right here is the old clock, and there used to be a speaker in there back in the old days. So I covered it up with a rock screen. It's actually still got a little bit of rocks in it, and then I put the Bel Air back on it. I deleted this right here, was the delete package. So this car probably didn't come with a radio. So this was your delete plate, and usually your stereo is right there. But I didn't need it anyway. I just kind of cleaned the dash up without having it in there. But the door panels, I wanted everything to look riveted. These are all silicone bronze TIG welded together. I cut this all out of plate and had Junior put the interior in the middle of it. It just looks kind of hardcore, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I was looking for, something that was pretty hardcore. But cool car, fun to drive, makes a lot of horsepower, turns a lot of heads. I mean, this is something that a guy would want a daily drive. I mean, you drive something that's, you know, LS, air conditioned, Corvette suspension, airbagged. All the suspension is all air ride all the way around. It's a C4 Corvette R&R frame underneath it. And then we put air ride at the shop. Justin put air ride on it at the shop. So it actually rides pretty good going down the road. It's all on air, so you know, really it's a cruiser. I mean, you put some people in here and pump a little air up in it, it just goes down the highway like nothing. So anyway, I hope you guys like the 55 Chevy. And before we go, I'm gonna go out and do some driving in it so you guys can see it going down the street. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I love cruising down this strip, man. It just, something about it. I've been doing it since I was a little guy, and when you're a teenager and you're down here cruising the strip, it's just, it's unbelievable. Look at all these people. Okay guys, well, I hope you had fun today cruising around a little bit on the strip with me, go to lunch. Enjoyed the 55 Chevy. Like I said, this is a great car. It's a classic. Anytime you can take a classic car, put an injected LS motor in it and go drive it around with the air conditioner on and the radio, that's a good day. Anyway, I'm gonna head out, I'm gonna head home. It's my daily, so I think I'm gonna drive it home tonight. So see you guys on the next one.